back to Animal Adventures. My name is Kylynn, and this week we're talking about human foods that are not safe for dogs to eat. Before we get started, I want to make it clear that I'm not a veterinarian and this is not medical advice. Instead, it's just a precaution that you can take at home to make sure your dog does not come in contact with these different foods. If you think that your dog has eaten one of these items or something that is dangerous or toxic for them, be sure to tell your parents and have them call a veterinarian immediately. Always keep that contact number on your fridge or in your wallet on hand so you can call right away and get your dog medical help and medical treatment. Let's get started with our first food. If you're like me, you probably love chocolate, but chocolate is really dangerous for dogs. That means all types of chocolate, like powdered chocolate, white chocolate, dark chocolate, cookies with chocolate in it. Any type of chocolate can be really dangerous for your dog to consume. And there's 2 different ingredients in it that are particularly bad, and they come in all different forms of chocolate. Especially around holidays like Easter or Halloween or Christmas, there might be more chocolate products lying around the house that your dog could get into. Be sure, no matter what time of year, to always keep candies and chocolate products up and out of reach where dogs cannot come in contact with them. Grapes are very dangerous for dogs to consume, and that doesn't just mean grapes themselves, but raisins are also very dangerous, and even the stem of grapes is toxic to dogs. So make sure that your dog never gets in contact with not even a single grape, any products like breads or trail mixes with raisins in them. Keep your dog far away from grapes. And another part of that is make sure there aren't grapes growing on your property or in your yard or on the other side of the fence that might creep through into your yard that your dog could potentially snack on while you don't know it. Always keep grapes away from your dog. Xylitol is one of those tricky, dangerous ingredients for dogs that you may have heard of, but you don't necessarily know what it's in. Xylitol is a sugar replacement or a false sweetener, and it's commonly found in things like gum or breath mints, commonly in toothpastes, as well as sometimes baked goods or sugar-free candy or sugar-free gum or Jell-O. It's also in some brands of peanut butter. So do your research, find out what xylitol is in, and make sure your dog never comes in contact with those items. Onions and garlic are one of those sneaky foods that your dog probably wouldn't eat just on its own, but if there was a yummy cooked dish that had onions and garlic in it, they might eat a lot of that, like Thanksgiving stuffing, for example. So my dog definitely does what I call counter surfing, a very bad habit, where whenever I leave the house, he puts his front feet up on the counter to see if there's any foods that he can reach. And he's never come across an onion and knocked it down and tried to gnaw on the onion. But if there was a yummy dish that he could get his little paws on that had cooked onions and garlic inside of it, he would for sure eat that. So be sure that your dog never comes in contact with a really yummy leftover dish that has onions and garlic in it that he could potentially eat and get sick from. It might seem kind of silly to think about dogs drinking coffee or tea like we do, but don't let them, because caffeine is very dangerous for dogs and cats both. So that means don't only let them lick up any products like that, but also don't let them chew on grounds that they come across, or coffee beans or tea bags that they might come in contact with. Always keep these caffeinated products far out of reach of your pet. Sometimes in children's books we see people giving a dish of milk to a kitten or a puppy, but it's important to know that dogs and cats' bodies are not able to digest dairy products very well at all. So while milk isn't necessarily poisonous to your dog, if you give them things like milk or cheese or other dairy, it might make them have gas or diarrhea and give them an upset stomach. Just keep that in mind. Dogs love bones. It seems like a perfectly natural thing for a dog to eat a bone, but cooked bones like these little chicken bones can be really dangerous, because when your dog chews them and breaks them into small pieces, a sharp piece of bone could potentially get stuck in their throat or inside their body, and that could be really dangerous for them. So don't throw cooked bones to your dog after dinner. Not Not all mushrooms are bad for dogs to consume, but some of them are very, very dangerous, especially when you go outdoors in nature and you're hiking or you're walking your dog. If your dog comes across mushrooms in the wild, do not let them eat them. They could potentially be really toxic and make your dog super sick. I was hiking with my dog once when he was a puppy, and he came running back to me with a huge mushroom in his mouth. I have no idea where he got it, and he was going to eat it if I didn't stop him. So make sure your dogs, especially outdoors, don't eat mushrooms they find in nature. They could potentially make them really ill. Thanks for tuning in this week to learn about foods that are not safe to feed your dog. I'll see you all next week with a brand new video.